Hi, Prativraj.
Hello, Mr. Suresh. How are you?
Thank you so much for joining us.
No problems.
It's almost been a year since your last film released. I think
Yes.
Ayappanam was in February 2020. And
Yeah.
that was a mind-blowing performance by you. I think one of your best
Thank
performances.
you. Thank
Um,
you so much. Yeah.
we were hoping that Kuruti would release, but the second wave
Yeah.
has pushed that.
Yes.
Was it a difficult decision to, between you and Anto Joseph to release Cold Case on an OTT platform and not wait till theaters reopen?
So what has happened is you see obviously Cold Case is a film that was designed for theaters. When we did the film, we did not start off thinking this is a film that will premiere in an OTT platform. But given the circumstances, none of us know when theaters are going to be back open. And even if they are back open, we're not quite sure if we are still going through a situation where the team behind the film can come and say, listen, all of you with your families, go to theaters and watch movies. I don't know how responsible a request that would be, under current circumstances. So putting all this together, I think probably the best platform for a film to find its audience right now would be Amazon Prime Video. I mean, in a way, I guess it's got another kind of reach that theaters can never match, because your film premiering in 240 plus countries and people being able to watch it from the safety of their homes at the time of their choosing, at their convenience. It's a great way to reach out to such a large audience. And especially given the times that we are going through, I think we should just be really happy that Amazon Prime Video is decided that they like the film and that they will lend their platform for the film to premiere. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It is my first digital premiere. I'm looking forward to what the difference in feedback is and how different is it going to be an experience for me once the film releases on a digital platform. Yeah, so I really can't be any happier. Yeah.
Okay, we are all looking forward to it. Cold Case from the trailer appears to be a whodunit. You're playing a police officer. You've played a police officer in several films before. I can remember Seventh Day, Memories, Mumbai Police, Aurangzeb. Those are the films I can remember. So, how do you ensure that your portrayals are not repetitive, and that you're portraying each character differently? I remember, the late Tilagan sir, once in an interview said that he has played a priest in so many films, but in each role he tries to do something different.
So I'm nowhere near as accomplished an actor as Tilagan sir is, and I don't think I ever will be also. Tilagan sir was. He was just, one of the finest the world has seen, if you ask me. But to me, yeah, probably compared to actors my age, I've done more number of police roles than probably all my colleagues put together, maybe, So, yeah, so the thing is, there are two kinds of police films that I've done, right? So the more famous ones are all character driven. Like, let's take Mumbai Police, for example. That film is very character driven. The whole film is Anthony Moses, the character. You take Memories. Memories is the film is Sam Alex. You discover the plot through this character. So when you do films like that, you have a character that has many layers and depth. And so as an actor, you sit with the director and the writer and you construct a character. You design a body language. You kind of think, well, how would he behave in each instance? And you construct a character. Then there is the other kind of film like Cold Case, which is not character driven at all. It is entirely plot driven. Cold Case is a film where ACP Satyajit is just a character in the plot. So the writer has not lent that much depth or that many layers to the character because the film does not demand it. So as an actor, when you walk into a film like Cold Case, yes, you want to make sure that the character is convincing and you do your best to portray him the best possible way. But as an actor, you should also be very aware of the fact that you need to take a step back. This is a character in the plot, and at no point should the character be bigger than the plot. So this character within this script, more than anything, serves the role of a narrator. Because as you watch the film, a lot of the information that you see, that you get as a viewer, a lot of the things that you eventually understand as somebody watching the film happen through what this character says. So at many instances, he becomes a narrator of the plot, beyond which there aren't many layers or complexities to Satyajit, the character I play in Cold Case. So that's a different kind of an exercise. So I'm not looking at Cold Case as a film where my character is going to be the center of attraction and my performance is going to be the talking point. I'm hoping and I believe that the talking point of Cold Case will be the film itself, will be the screenplay. So yeah, so that's what it is.
My next question is, though you've answered a bit of it in this one, when a relatively new filmmaker comes to you with a role in which you have to play a cop again, there has to be something special to it which would want you to sign on to it. So could you tell us what attracted you to the script or project?
It is a script. It is a script in itself. In fact, the script was sent to me by my friend, who's also one of the cinematographers and the producers of Cold Case, Mr. Jomon T. John. And the first thing I called Jomon and asked him is if I can produce a film, actually, which he didn't let me because he wanted to produce it himself. So I acted in it. The script is what drew all of us to this film. It is very interesting because it is a whodunit and it is a how did he do it film, right? And it's the same story that travels in two different paths. It is, one path is a police investigation where every step is taken based on inferences and logic and evidences and proof. And then there is the other path, which is also an investigation, but this time it is an investigation by a journalist. Now, on that path, there are frequent occurrences that logic possibly can't explain. There are things that happen that you really cannot include in the realm of reality. There are paranormal activities. And it is not that one path negates the other. It is not that one inference proves the other wrong. They both meet at one point in the film, and they still can't say that you are wrong and I am right. Both those are still valid. In that way, it was a very intelligently designed new kind of screenplay for me, which is why I agreed to be part of it. And I think all of us, including the producers, the actors, the technicians, all of us got on board because we thought this is new.
Okay. As you said, the film talks about this conflict between logic and faith.
Yeah.
Your character in the film says that I'm a police officer, so I'm going to be on the side of logic.
Yeah.
Is that how you are in real life too? Are you somebody who places your trust in logic, or are you somebody who also has faith that there could be things which are explained, which can't be explained by science and are beyond logic?
I'm just monotonously analytical and science-based in my life. So, I've absolutely no inclination towards supernatural occurrences or, I'm just, what is it? Is it the left side of the brain that is more logic and math than science-based?
Right.
So Anjali Menon keeps telling me you need to use more of the right side of your brain, please.
Okay. Now, moving away, last year, you were stuck in Jordan for several weeks when the pandemic struck and, the lockdown was announced out of the blue. I remember you, reading your social media posts, in which you sounded calm, but there was anxiety because you were stuck in a foreign country in the middle of a pandemic with a crew. Could you tell us briefly how those weeks went by for you before you could fly back into India in May?
See, we were in Wadi Rum. In a beautiful desert camp in one of the most stunning vistas of the world. We had unlimited food. We had all the our producer took care of us like unbelievably well. We were playing cricket every day evening and we were having fun. We were all together. The only thing that kept nagging us is one, we didn't know when we could come back. It wasn't like, okay, 30 days down the line, you'll get a flight. That we didn't know. It was just indefinite. But even more disturbing for us was the fact that we couldn't shoot. We couldn't do what we went there to do. And it was personally a little bit tougher for me because I was on a crash diet and I had lost like 31 kilos for that role.
Right.
And so it was a little tough for me. But other than that, it wasn't really an existential crisis because even then, back when we were in Jordan, when we were reading about what is happening around the world, we were inclined to think that, hang on, we are better off, because where we were in Wadi Rum, there were 0 cases back in those times. So we were quite well taken care of. It is just that we didn't know when we would be back home. And we didn't know when we would be able to finish the film. Other than that, we were all fine. Yeah.
Now, you recently made an announcement on social media, which has created a lot of excitement, which is your second film as a director. titled Bro Daddy with Mohanlal again. What can you tell us about the film besides the fact that it's going to be a fun family drama? And what can you tell us about your relationship with Mohanlal as an actor-director relationship? Because we've all grown up watching him and loving him. But what is your one-on-one relationship with him as?
See, I mean, he's like a big brother to me. I mean, we pretty much live in the same building. So whenever he's in Cochin, we meet every day or every second day. We meet, we speak. But when it comes to work, we are two professionals, right? I mean, I'm a huge Mohanlal fan. I absolutely adore him as an actor, and his stardom is there for all of us to see. And it is very flattering for me that he has almost explicit trust in me as a filmmaker. So this was not the film that I was supposed to do with Mohanlal. It was a sequel to Lucifer, and I just thought that all of us badly need a happy film. It's just been ages since we saw, especially in Malayalam, saw a film with a smile on our faces and sat and laughed, and just it didn't fry our brain. Yeah, we've had brilliant films, but most of them were like very sober, dark, intriguing, black comedy, and this is too serious. So under these circumstances, when I heard the script, what struck me most was, man, we need this, all of us need this, a film like this. So I narrated this idea to Mohanlal, and he immediately said, we are doing it. So that's how this project came to be. And what is most appealing, especially under the current circumstances regarding that film, is it is a film that I think can be executed with all the COVID protocols and everything in place, unlike an Emburan or a Barros, Yeah.
Now, Prithviraj, your directorial debut, Lucifer, is the highest grossing film ever in Malayalam cinema. Unlike Tamil, Telugu, or even Hindi films, Malayalam cinema was never known for, style or scale. It's mostly known for natural, simple narratives. And Lucifer sort of rewrote that, in terms of scale and style and all. It was like larger than life. Is that your sort of signature as a filmmaker, do you think?
So there are two parts that I should answer to that question. You say Malayalam cinema was never really known for scale or style, but Malayalam cinema is where India found its first 3D film. Malayalam cinema is where India found its first 70mm film. And I would like to think that Malayalam cinema is as much known for its technical mastery as it is for its content and actors and filmmakers. And secondly, ideally, I would like to have no signature as a filmmaker. I would like to be able to do all kinds of cinema. What matters is if a script is appealing to you, you stay honest to that script. Lucifer appealed to me as a large-scale, big canvas, mainstream commercial film. So that's how you make it. Bro Daddy appealed to me as a feel-good, fun, frolicky family entertainer. So that's why I'm going to make it. I might tomorrow make a dark, violent, real space film, that if the script appeals to me, that will be how I make that film. So ideally, I would like to have absolutely no signature as a filmmaker. I think the best filmmakers usually have no signatures. So,
okay. Now, coming from your fans online, there's a question about Emburan. Of course, I think the film will now go on the floors once all these restrictions are away. But is Emburan going to be like a prequel to Lucifer?
Good question. So you will have to pay the price of a movie ticket to know that.
Okay. My last question, coming back to Cold Case. Which are some of your favorite or most memorable films which are whodunits or are investigative thrillers? Any that are always there in your mind?
There are so many because it's a genre that I'm a huge fan of, and two, it's a genre that has got so many great films made within it. There are so many, but something that I thought was quite brilliant of late is not a film, it's a series called Mayor of Easttown. So
okay, all right. Thank you so much for your time, Prithviraj, and all the best for Cold Case.
Thank you so much.
We are truthful, unafraid and independent because of you. Now you can help our reporting from the ground. Go to thequint.com, click Become a Member tab, choose a plan and pay. Because the truth is worth it.